The sky over Southampton was as gray as the mood in Isabel Carter's chest. She had built her company, Cornova, from scratch, raised by her aunt after her mother's death, coded her way through college, and turned a garage idea into a billion-dollar platform. Now she was arriving at the estate of the Whitmore family, American royalty in oil and banking, to finalize a deal that could catapult Cornova into global dominance. Her driver opened the door outside the sprawling estate. "We're here, Miss Carter." Isabel stepped out in a slate-gray suit, sharp, professional, but understated. She wasn't here for show. She was here to sign. Richard Whitmore, tall and silver-haired, greeted her at the front steps with outstretched arms. "Isabel, we're thrilled to have you." Behind him, his wife, Catherine, offered a polite smile. "We've prepared a lovely room for you. Separate wing, more privacy." Isabel hesitated. "The other guests are in the West Wing?" "Yes, but this will be more comfortable," Catherine replied, still smiling. The words didn't sting. They landed like static, soft but telling. Isabel nodded and followed the staff to her room. As she sat alone in the perfectly curated guest suite, her phone buzzed. A message from her CFO. "Any red flags?" Isabel stared out at the sea beyond the window. "Too early to say," she typed, "but the air's already heavy." The weekend unfolded like a well-rehearsed play. At dinner, Isabel was seated between a hedge fund heir and a golf course mogul. The conversation floated around polo, European yachts, and elite boarding schools. No one asked about Cornova. No one asked about her. Richard gave a glowing toast. "We're excited to welcome Isabel to the family. Her team will bring the tech edge we need." Her team, not her leadership, not her vision. Later, on the patio, Catherine offered her a chilled flute of champagne. "I must say, you're incredibly articulate." Isabel smiled, tightly. "I get that a lot." They nodded politely. No one raised a voice. No one openly insulted her. But the message was clear. She could bring value. She could make them richer. But she could never truly belong. That night, Isabel returned to her room. She sat in silence, the glow of her laptop screen reflecting back her own tired eyes. A deal this size wasn't just about money. It was about integration, alignment, respect. And none of that was in this house. The next morning at breakfast, Richard placed a thick folder beside her croissant. "Everything's ready for signing after brunch." Isabel looked at the papers, then at the polished table of polished people who had spent 48 hours pretending not to see her. She folded her napkin and stood. Silence swept over the sunlit dining room as Isabel Carter pushed her chair back. She looked at Richard Whitmore, then Catherine, then the rest of the table. "I came here as your equal," she said calmly, "but I've been treated like a token." Richard cleared his throat, trying to laugh it off. "Oh, come now, Isabel. You're overthinking." She raised her hand gently. "No, I'm not." She picked up the deal folder and held it for a moment, then placed it back down, untouched. "You don't get to build legacy by signing with people who smile at you but don't see you," she continued. "I know my value, and I don't need to rent myself out to earn respect." A hush fell across the table. No one moved. Then Isabel gave a slight nod, turned and walked out of the room. Her heels echoed against marble floors. Outside, her car was waiting. By the time she reached the gates, her phone buzzed. A message from her CFO. "Please tell me you didn't just walk away," she replied. "I did, and it felt right. We just lost $500 million. "No," she typed. "We gained something better." Isabel didn't call a press conference. She didn't go on TV. She just posted a quiet message on her company's blog. "We walked away from a major deal this weekend, not because it wasn't lucrative, but because dignity has no price tag. We believe in partnerships built on trust, not tolerance." Coronova remains independent, proudly. She went to bed thinking it would get a few shares. By morning, it had 5 million views. Hashtags like dignity deals, not your token, and #respect is power began trending. Entrepreneurs, especially women and people of color, flooded the comments. All of this. She said what we all think, and she walked. Finally, someone chose legacy over leverage. Even celebrities shared it. Quiet endorsements, loud support. Within a week, Coronova's valuation didn't drop, it soared. Investors respected the move. Users respected the message. Isabel's inbox filled with opportunities, real ones. Offers came in from international firms, but most importantly, her team stood taller. At the next company all hands, Isabel said, "We didn't just skip a deal. We sent a message. We know our worth, and we won't trade it for a seat at the round table." The room erupted in applause. 3 months later, Coronova opened a new office in Atlanta, modern, diverse, buzzing with energy. During the ribbon cutting, a young intern nervously approached Isabel. "Miss Carter," she said, "I'm here because of that blog post. I didn't think people like us had a place in rooms like this. You proved me wrong." Isabel smiled warmly. "We don't wait to be invited anymore. We build our own tables." In interviews, reporters kept asking, "Do you regret walking away from $500 million?" She always answered the same, "No. You can rebuild money, but once you sell your voice, you don't get it back." At a tech leadership summit later that year, Isabel took the stage. She didn't talk about code or strategy. She talked about courage. Walking away won't always make you richer overnight, but it might make you freer. And in time, that freedom is what people follow. The applause was standing room only. Coronova didn't just become a unicorn company. It became a movement. And Isabel Carter became more than a CEO. She became a mirror, showing the world what it looks like when someone remembers who they are.